Hey there everyone, Dr. Beth Westy here, and I am popping in live to talk about belly fat and how to burn belly fat and what that means and what that entails. I'm doing this video because I keep seeing things out there that I feel like are so misleading for women that are like, take this one thing, this one supplement gets you to burn belly fat. Oh my gosh. Do this one exercise. If you're doing this exercise, it's gonna burn your belly fat. And I'm like, no, that's not how this works at all. Like, it's not one thing. Like, you don't just like take this magic supplement, right? Like that's like literally what snake oil is, right? Or like, oh, it's this one thing, and all of a sudden, all of your problems are solved, and holy cow, this is so great, right? Oh, this is the ab exercise you need to do. It's this ab exercise and all of your belly fat gets burned. And I'm like, you know what? If it was that easy, everybody would have 8-packs all the time. Just walking around mid-drifts, like just showing it off. Like that's not how the body works. And that's not how this goes for people. It's not just one thing. So I wanted to talk about a few different things to address when you're looking at, oh my gosh, I'm really struggling with my midsection. I'm really struggling with, getting the results that I want. What is it that I'm doing? I feel like I'm spinning my wheels. Right, Gina? Yes, there's so many people that are like, oh my gosh, it's right around my midsection. Why is that? Like, I'm happy with my arms, I'm happy with my legs, or, that type of thing. But why is it so located right in my belly that I can't seem to make progress on, right? And then you see these things, right? Yeah, you can't just take a pill and lose weight, right? And then you see these things. I literally just saw a thing where I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Look at this magic thing I'm gonna take, and it's my belly's gonna be flat in the morning. I'm like, no, that's not how this works. Okay, so when we talk about belly fat, right? Like there's a lot of different things that can go on in the abdomen. Now I'm doing this video because I'm so sick of crap information out there for women, or when you're looking at something, if you're like, oh my gosh, this is the answer. And I know that it's a very, it can be a very emotional thing. Like if you're feeling really down about your results, if you see something pop across and you're like, well, maybe this is what I need. Maybe this is the one thing that's missing. And I'm here, I just want to list off some things that for you to look at and say, hey, am I doing all of these things first? And then maybe adding this in. So I have a 12-week program where I work with women one-on-one to really help get your results in what you're looking for. Now, I work specifically with women with hormone issues. If you're struggling, if you're stuck, right? If you are really looking for, oh my gosh, I don't understand. I'm doing these things, yet I'm not getting the result I was before. It's not you, right? Like, you're like, I'm still, exercising and eating good. Why is my body responding? You have a different body now. Your hormones shift and change. So, right, like you're not going crazy. This is what happens to the female body. So I talk about the 12-week program that I have where I work with women one-on-one. I talk about a lot of details in my book, The Female Fat Solution, which is on Amazon. I have a podcast, The Female Health Solution. And I do a ton of info and a ton of interviews there as well. And then I have a YouTube channel where I upload all of my videos too. So if you're looking for something specific, like menopause, endometriosis, something specific there, you can always search there. And I'm also in the middle of my next book on nutrition for female athletes. Stay tuned for that. But when we talk about the abdomen, it's a really big trigger for women. And this is, I've seen some comments are coming through here where they talk about C-sections, all these other things. I've had 3 C-sections myself, and this is one of the things where I was like, I never before I felt like I had good abs, right? Like even though I was an athlete growing up, this was before having kids, and I have a better stomach now post 3 C-sections, post all of that, right? And actually had an abdominal hernia surgery as well, right? Like from the baby, it's just popped open my umbilical, like my belly button went boop other way. It's like, that's not normal. Tuck that back in, please. Hello. Oh. Anyway, but I'm able to, work with my body and get a better result now than I was 15 years ago, 18 years ago, when I was an athlete, when I was, supposedly at like my top, performance, level then, right? It's crazy, the difference that you can make in your life with the right nutrition and really working with your body. So that's what I want to address and talk about. It is not about one supplement. It is not about, one ab exercise. Yes, Naomi, I do have a lot of videos on endometriosis. Yes. Yes, I've been through a lot of different things. So this is part of the reason it's led me down the path that I'm on, to really get women more information. I'm just so passionate about getting women information so that you can make positive changes in your life and empowering women to do that. Don't just take, anything, at face value, what somebody tells you. Like, go through and look at, okay, how am I feeling? How am I responding? How does this work for me? Right? It is so different for women. And that's what I love about the 12-week program that I have. I love walking women through this process of, okay, here's what we're going to target for you. Here's what we're going to work on. We're going to dive deep on these issues for you specifically, tweak and tailor things for what your body needs, and help you move from the stuck place where you're at forward so that you know how your body responds and you get all these tools for your tool belt to be like, oh my gosh, I can do this, that, and the other whenever I want so that I can maintain however I want my body to be. Truffle shuffle your way back to, you know what, Julie, you might be able to. I would, you know what, never say never, Julie. The truffle shuffle, yes. Yeah. Yes. Dickinson, hey, yes, I'm so excited about, going through this information. Yes. Ooh, Cheryl, we should chat about that. Yes. Okay. So when we talk about getting rid of belly fat and everything else, one of the first things for women to realize is that, one, you're not crazy. It's not just you. Like, if you feel like you're getting this tire around your midsection, you're like, hello, why can't I get off? A lot of times it's your hormones. Specifically, you're going to be looking at cortisol and estrogen. That cortisol especially is stress in your life, and your body has a hard time processing through all that excess hormone. It literally will just sit right in that midsection. If you notice, like, when you're under stress, it's not like you gain weight like everywhere. You're like, oh, it's just here. Not so much here or here, right here. Who can name that movie reference? Who can name that movie reference? Get a prize if you do. But that's what it's like, seriously. So it gets stuck there and locked there. So doing a ton of cardio isn't going to touch it. Eating more salads, cutting your calories isn't going to touch it because it's hormonally related. It's hormonally driven, right? It is just stuck there. So how do you deal with that? This is where I talk about working and eating for your hormones. This makes the biggest difference ever. When you start working with your body and stop fighting your body, that's what makes the biggest difference in terms of moving forward, right? And you have to target for that belly fat. You have to target more than one thing. Like I said, it's not one magic thing. That would be so great, right? Yes. Stop the stress. Yeah, right? So move to an island, right? Move to an island and, live there forever and just be stress-free forever. Oh, just kidding. Maybe if that's not doable right now for you, maybe next year, then let's just work on this for now until you can move to the island next year. Yes. So eating for your hormones and working on getting rid of that excess cortisol and estrogen. If you guys want, I can do a whole separate video on how that's targeted in the body. Just let me know if that's something you want me to deep dive into. But eating for your hormones to support your body and the normal ebb and flow that it has, as well as getting rid of the excess that your body holds onto. So just let me know if you want that, because that's a sort of a whole nother rabbit hole I go down. Protein. This is so key because you need to increase your muscle. Protein is the number one nutrient I find that women do not get enough of. And I have this conversation every day with women. I've had it today, where I talk to a gal and just, very knowledgeable about health, has a background in health, and was like, oh no, I'm getting protein, And I said, okay, just ballpark it for me what you're thinking. Well, I don't know, but it's a lot. And I hear this so much. And I said, okay, list it out for me. Say yesterday. Just rattle off what you had yesterday. And I went through and added up, as she's rattling off. And I said, you know what? You only got about 75. And I was being generous on a few things. For your goals, for your height and current weight and everything else and the amount of stress you have in your life, I said that's not enough. Why? Because when your body's under stress, the female body reacts totally differently. And your body's gonna take some of that protein, turn it into sugars, and store it. And then it's gonna have a harder time maintaining the lean muscle that you have. What that means overall is that your body can't get to a fat burning stage and stay there. For women, getting to fat burning and staying there is totally different than men. Men can get there and stay there like all day. For women, it's totally different. If you can get there during working out, and if you're not supporting your body properly, nutritionally, after that workout, you'll immediately go into fat storage, like high fat storage. So no matter how much you feel like you burned during that workout, you store way more the rest of the day. Ooh, it's maddening. It is maddening. I'm gonna start sweating if I get a little worked up here. Seriously, I took a shower, so anyway, I don't want to sweat right now. I'm gonna calm down. But that's seriously what it is. So it's getting enough protein to maintain your muscle to battle that stress. So again, this is one of those things. If you're eating for your hormones, but you're still not getting enough protein, you're missing some things there. So the other thing I want to encourage you to do, because I am so passionate about getting women this information, I really believe that women, when you know better, you do better. And this is just stuff that it's glossed over. And there's like, oh, look at this fancy, shiny thing. This ab exercise. Buy this ab blaster thing and it's going to give you that six. It's like, no, that's not how the female body works. Ugh. So we start with, how does your body function? And then you build off of it from there. So if you're finding this information helpful, I would so love and appreciate you sharing this with other people that could use this message, that could understand that, oh my gosh, it's not me. I'm not crazy. That type of a thing. Is there such a thing as too much protein? Yeah, like don't eat 3 times your body weight in protein. That might be a little much. I did a podcast with Dr. Paul Arciero on protein, and I've got a couple other ones. So the Female Health Solution is my podcast. Tons of info on protein there. I've done at least 2, maybe 3 of them specifically on protein. Deep dive there if you want more there. But again, so eating for your hormones, getting enough protein, again, for that muscle mass. And then the last thing is exercise that I want to talk about. And it's not, this one ab exercise will get you your 6-pack. No. And a lot of women, if you're like, okay, I work out a ton, I do CrossFit, or I do boot camp, or I have a trainer or whatever. I know I have abs under there, right? The abs are under this layer of fat. How do I get the abs to come out? Come out wherever you are. Abs. It's not about doing more cardio. It is not about doing any of that specifically for, the exercise and being like, oh, you just need to do more cardio. It's a combination of all these things. And then for exercise, the biggest thing is to not overdo it. Hopefully you guys can still read that down there. To not overdo it. Because that's the tendency that we have. We have a tendency to say, oh my gosh, I'm just going to work out way harder. I'm going to work out way more. I am going to just bust it, and that's what's going to get me abs. Again, the female body and how it reacts, especially to stress, and that's a big area that the females hold it, is that if you're overdoing it, your body will say, oh, just kidding. And instead of you thinking that you're burning everything, we're going to store it even more. And if you're not supporting your body around your workouts nutritionally, so if you're working out and you're not eating correctly before, during, after the workouts, if you're not getting enough protein throughout the day, all of that stuff, it's just going to backfire for you. And it's going to be so much harder. And then you're going to be stuck. You're going to feel like, okay, I've been going to the gym for 6 months now, really consistently, 2-a-days, 3 times a week even, blah, blah, blah. Why isn't this improving? And again, it's not about the exercise. You're overdoing it and you're making it worse. It's do enough exercise for your body, but really help your body recover properly. That's the big key. So there's this balance. You think you're totally overdoing it on your workouts, Kelly? Yeah, I mean, it's so common. That's such a go-to for women. And you know why it's a go-to for women? Because it is pounded into our brains that that's what needs to happen. It really is. It honestly is. It's pounded into our brains that that's what needs to happen, because you know who that works for? You know who that works beautifully for? I know you know. I know you're thinking it right now. Men. It works beautifully for men. If men really want to get a little more chiseled, they don't necessarily need to increase a ton if they're lifting. If they're like, I'm happy with my muscle mass, but I want to lean out more. All they got to do is add like 20 more minutes of cardio a few times a week. A couple weeks later, you're like, holy cow, did you drop like 10% body fat? Oh, I totally did. Yeah, they did. Yeah, that's how it works. That's how it works. So that's why it's pounded into our brains that all we got to do is do more cardio, and it doesn't work for us. It's not how the female body is made. So for a lot of women who are struggling, or if you are able to get your body percentage down, a lot of times if you're not supporting it hormonally, it'll have horrific hormonal impact, and then it messes up your cycle, it messes up your stress, and then it's this rebound thing that maybe it doesn't happen the first time for women, the first go around with it, maybe not the second, but it'll happen eventually. I actually work with a lot of women, and they go through my program, and I have a lot of success with this too, with getting women their periods back, or getting women their hormones back after they have put their body through the ringer, because it's so hard in your system. Again, it's because they're overdoing it with their exercise, and they're not properly supporting their body with the right nutrition here. Getting sweaty. Getting sweaty and mad. So I cover some of this information in my book. I cover a lot of it, in different pieces of my podcast. Again, I have my YouTube channel, but the real thing is that if you are struggling with this yourself, and if you're like, oh my gosh, I've been totally stuck. Oh my gosh, I really want to know and understand how my body functions, works better, how it handles stress better, then going through the 12-week program is going to be the right fit for you to really learn different tactics, learn about hormones, learn about your body's response, and getting the right nutrition and the right balance for what your goals are. Because that's another thing that's totally different. A lot of times it's really easy to sort of cut something temporarily to really manipulate like some type of result, but that's sort of a false result, right? Because that's not something you can keep. You can't keep cutting your calories by 200 calories a day all the time. You're going to be left with nothing, right? So oftentimes it's eating more, getting more nutrient in your system, and really working with the exercise that you're doing and the stress that your body has. That's what switches things around. So the name of my book is The Female Fat Solution. And again, this is just on Amazon. And then I'm in the middle of my other next book, which is Nutrition for Female Athletes, because I'm an athlete as well. And that's, again, for women that work out and that struggle, that's a big thing too. So I work with a lot of women that are struggling with hormones, struggling with, getting the right results, struggling even if they're active and athletes, that type of a thing. So yes, so the effects hormones have on weight loss when they are out of whack. Yes, it's when your hormones are off, it's like nothing you do works, like really nothing. Yeah, it's super frustrating. So that's what I got for you guys today. Thank you so much for staying tuned and listening all the way to the end and watching me get a little sweaty on my rant, because I did. And like I said, if you find this interesting, or if you're chatting with somebody and you're like, oh my gosh, there was this video I saw, share it with them, because it helps me just spread my mission of getting women more information about how your bodies work, how they function, and really stop being targeted, because it's such a moment of weakness when you're looking at something and you're like, oh my God, if I just take this thing for a week, I'll get abs. Yay. And then you try it and it doesn't work. And it oftentimes ends up setting you back. But that's how things are marketed to women. And I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of everything being marketed to women like that and making you think that that's all you need. And I'm like, no, that's not how our bodies work. Work on a lot of things, right? It's a whole new foundation of things that's going to move you forward. So thank you for listening. Everybody have a great night, and I will see you guys later.